What if everything you think you know about existence were a delicate curtain woven by frequencies and resonances that your physical eyes cannot perceive? What if reality, the one we touch and feel, were essentially an echo, a vast and complex vibrational hologram? Fellow truth seekers, restless souls who yearn to lift the veil of appearances, today I invite you on a journey that is not linear, but spiral, delving into the hidden mysteries of creation itself. Prepare to question every certainty, to feel how cosmic energy flows through you and around you, revealing the true nature of the universe. We're not talking about simple theories, but about knowledge that resonates with forgotten ancestral wisdom, whispered in forbidden texts and encoded in ancient symbols. This journey promises to be an inner alchemy that will transmute your understanding of the cosmos and of yourselves, opening the door to a spiritual enlightenment that goes beyond the merely intellectual. If you feel a tingling in your soul, a calling you can't ignore, then this message is for you. I invite you to immerse yourself completely, to leave a like if this spark ignites you, to share your thoughts in the comments, and to subscribe so you don't miss any of these revelations that promise to change everything. Because what we're about to explore isn't just fascinating, it's shocking. Reality is a hologram. The evidence is everywhere, and today we begin to unravel it. On this path toward discernment, our first stop is next to the figure of a visionary who, with his sharp mind and bold spirit, dared to dismantle the pillars of our ordinary perception. We are speaking of Itzhak Bentov, a scientist, inventor, and self-taught man whose legacy stands like a beacon in the dense fog of preconceived ideas. Bentov was not a traditional mystic, but rather an explorer of consciousness who, through science, rediscovered truths that esoteric traditions have jealously guarded for eons. His work is a key piece in understanding that everything around us, every atom, every emotion, every thought is nothing more than a vibration. Our reality, as we experience it, is an intricate dance of frequencies, an illusion masterfully orchestrated by the cosmic energy that permeates every corner of spacetime. Bentov proposed a radical but elegantly simple idea. Consciousness is not a mere byproduct of brain activity, a fleeting spark of gray matter. No, for him, consciousness is the primal source, the omnipresent transmitter that pulses through everything. It exists in the water we drink, in the sound that surrounds us, even in the apparent inertia of a rock. The brain, in this astonishing conception, is not the generator of consciousness, but a sophisticated receiver, a biological antenna tuned to that vast network of universal information. Think about it. If your brain is only a receiver, what or? Who is tuning in? And what happens when that antenna is tuned to unheard of frequencies, to channels that conventional science still refuses to recognize? Here lies an echo of the ancient wisdom that has always posited the omnipresence of a primordial consciousness. From this perspective, the universe itself is revealed as a gigantic vibrational hologram, a living hologram woven with patterns of energy, waves, and resonances. It is not a cold, inert mechanism, but a unique cosmic organism where every particle, every breath, every thought is a note in an infinite symphony. This is not just a poetic metaphor. It is a description of a reality far more fluid and malleable than we have ever been taught. Our own bodies, minds, and souls, in Bentov's view, are nothing more than intricate antennas designed to capture and transmit this universal symphony. The tragedy, perhaps, is that we have forgotten how to listen to it, how to interpret its rhythm, its pulse, that fundamental frequency, which, according to Bentov, hovers around 7 cycles per second, in uncanny alignment with the Earth's own resonant frequency and states of deep meditation. Is this amnesia, this forgetting of our own ability to tune in, accidental or part of a larger design, or perhaps interference? The notion that everything is vibration and that reality is a vibrational illusion lies at the heart of many esoteric traditions, from Vedic cosmogonies to the teachings of inner alchemy, which seek to transform consciousness through resonance. But Bentov didn't just theorize. He suggested paths to experiencing this truth. When our being, our antenna, aligns and opens to certain frequencies, phenomena that seem miraculous become not only possible but inevitable. It is at this point that Bentov's ideas intersect with profound and often misunderstood experiences, such as those surrounding the awakening of Kundalini, a concept that many have relegated to mysticism, but which he explored with an almost engineering perspective. And it is precisely this awakening, this ability to channel cosmic energy through invisible centers, that leads us to the following question. What dimensions open up when the perception of time and space, as we know them, begins to crumble? The collapse Itzhak Bentov describes as not a chaotic dissolution, but a reconfiguration of perception, a fusion. Imagine time not as a linear arrow, but as a spiral, or even as a point, and space as a densified manifestation of a more subtle vibration. When Kundalini, that serpentine cosmic energy latent in our spine, ascends, it not only activates energy centers, it recalibrates our biological antenna. This allows individual consciousness to tune into the frequencies of the universal field. The absolute emptiness Bentov spoke of, a substrate not empty, but brimming with potential. It is at that point of resonance that the veils of illusion dissolve, revealing that time and space are, in essence, constructs of our limited mind, holograms generated by the interaction of these vibrations. Ancestral wisdom has whispered it. In Egyptian temples, in the Vedas, and shamanic traditions, reality is a collective dream, and awakening is the recognition that we are, at the same time, the dreamer and the dream. The hidden mysteries of inner alchemy did not seek to transmute metals into gold, but rather ordinary consciousness into spiritual enlightenment, freeing it from the shackles of fragmented perception. Many forbidden texts allude to this great work, codified to protect its power, for the knowledge of our true nature, of how the universe emerges from vibrational silence, possesses immense transformative power. What Bentov offers us is an almost scientific roadmap to transcend the sensory trap, to perceive totality. It is not about traveling to other places, but about recognizing that all places, all dimensions, coexist here and now, interpenetrated. At the same instant, the collapse of time and space is, then, an opening towards simultaneous multiplicity, a mirror that reflects the interconnectedness of all that exists. But what happens when consciousness, freed from these coordinates, encounters its own infinity, and what responsibilities does the recognition of being a co-creator of reality entail? The answer lies in the understanding that every vibration we emit, every thought, every emotion, is a frequency that interacts with the universal field, shaping the fabric of what we experience. Spiritual enlightenment, in this context, is not a distant goal, but the natural consequence of aligning our internal resonance with the harmony of the cosmos. This is the true heart of inner alchemy, transmuting dissonance into coherence, chaos into order, not only within oneself, but in the manifestation of external reality. The hidden mysteries of creation, whispered in the codices of ancient wisdom, speak of a primordial cosmic energy, a ceaseless stream of consciousness that pulsates in the apparent void and from which everything emanates. Bentov intuited that this energy is the substance of which we are made, and that our consciousness is a fractal of that immense force. Forbidden texts, often suppressed for their potential to destabilize power structures based on fear and ignorance, detail how this energy can be intentionally directed. Imagine a universe that is a vast symphony of vibrations. If our consciousness is an instrument, how do we choose to play? Do we emit notes of discord that perpetuate the illusion of separation and suffering? Or do we tune our frequency to resonate with the underlying unity? Recognizing this power is not permission for complacency, but a call to the deepest responsibility. It involves discerning the true nature of will and intention, transcending egoic desires to align with a greater purpose. But how do we navigate a universe where every act of consciousness is an act of creation? And where does the inner compass that guides us toward the highest manifestation reside? Bentov, with his audacious mind, proposed that this compass is inherent to consciousness itself, not as a cerebral construct, but as a fundamental vibrational field that interacts with the universe. His model of consciousness as a bouncing ball in a cosmic energy field illuminates the hidden mysteries of our interaction with reality. We are not mere spectators, but active co-creators. An inner alchemy manifests in the modulation of our own frequency. This truth, safeguarded by ancient wisdom in mystical and philosophical traditions, from the Upanishads to the Hermetic records, has always pointed to consciousness as the master key. Forbidden texts, often burned and demonized, described precise techniques for this modulation, for spiritual enlightenment, not as a divine gift, but as a science of consciousness. Understanding that every thought, every emotion is a vibration that propagates and returns, transforming the ether that surrounds us, is the cornerstone of this wisdom. Cosmic energy is not an external force to which we appeal, but the very substance of our being, waiting to be directed with conscious intentionality. Great works of art, scientific innovations, acts of compassion that alter the course of history aren't all expressions of a consciousness that has fine-tuned its frequency to manifest the extraordinary? But is it possible for this fine-tuning to reach a point where the separation between self and wholeness ceases to be a mere illusion, but a palpable, experiential experience? What transcendence awaits beyond that threshold? Those who have delved into ancient wisdom understand that Bentov's thesis about consciousness not as a product, but as a ubiquitous transmitter, resonates with the hidden mysteries of countless cosmogonies. If consciousness dwells in water, sound, and even rocks, as he suggests, then every element of our universe is a vibrant node of information, a mirror of the great cosmic mind. The forbiddens, and perhaps for this reason highly coveted, texts from esoteric schools in Egypt, Tibet, and pre-Columbian America describe an animated world where spirit, consciousness, permeates every crystal, every current, every whisper of the wind. This was not naive animism, but a subtle science of cosmic energy, an understanding that the mind is not confined to the cranial vault, but extends like a luminous network that interconnects all that exists. The brain, from this perspective, reveals itself not as the generator of consciousness, but as a sophisticated bioreceiver, an antenna capable of tuning and decoding frequencies from a field of universal consciousness that surrounds us and of which we are an intrinsic part. Inner alchemy, then, is the purification and calibration of this antenna, the elimination of the interference accumulated by social programming and emotional wounds, in order to achieve spiritual enlightenment, through fine-tuning with the highest and purest vibrations of this universal consciousness. This leads us to ask, if the brain is a mere receiver, a translator of the immanent, what happens when the universal signal is distorted, not by failures of the cosmic transmitter, but by internal noise, by deep-rooted limiting beliefs, or by deep soul wounds that act as opaque filters? And what implications does this have for the true nature of the reality we perceive, the one we believe we share? If our individual consciousness is a prism that refracts universal light, then the impurities in that prism not only distort our own vision, but also, in a way, co-create the illusion of what we call objective reality. Ancient wisdom, encoded in symbols and myths, has always warned about the formative power of thought and emotion, what quantum physics barely touches. on today with the concept of observer, the hidden mysteries of millennia ago already taught. Our perception is not passive. It is a constant creative act. The so-called forbidden texts, often burned or reinterpreted to conceal their true meaning, revealed that every human being is, in essence, a pulsating node in the vast network of cosmic energy, a simultaneous transmitter and receiver. Inner alchemy, therefore, is not only a path to personal spiritual enlightenment. It is a tool to purify that node so that the vibrations we emit and receive are in perfect resonance with the essential truth of the universal hologram. Imagine a concert where each instrument is a soul, and the out-of-tune nature of one creates dissonance in the collective symphony. When that out-of-tune nature is widespread, when the frequencies of fear, ignorance, and separation dominate, the reality that manifests is a dense projection, a shadow of the original light. The masters of ancient times did not seek to escape this reality, but to transform it from within, understanding that the matrix is not an external prison, but a reflection of our collective internal state. But is it possible that this collective distortion, this vibrational cacophony, has created layers of illusion so dense that we have forgotten the original music, the primary pattern from which everything emerged? And what happens when harmony is so elusive that it becomes a distant, almost forgotten echo of a reality we can barely glimpse? It is precisely this original resonance, this primal pulse of existence, that ancient wisdom called the Edenic frequency. The hidden mysteries revealed that the Earth itself beats at a particular rhythm, a vibration of approximately 7 cycles per second, known today as the Schumann resonance. This is the melody that our bodies, in their purest state, are intrinsically designed to tune into. Imagine that each of us is a biological antenna, perfect in its original design, capable of capturing and transmitting the subtlest cosmic energy. The forbidden texts, those that challenge the structures of power and control, not only described this innate capacity, but offered the keys to reactivating it. They spoke of breathing practices, of sound, of stillness, which acted as calibrators of our internal antenna. Inner alchemy is nothing other than the meticulous process of removing the encrustations of dissonance, the layers of fear and doubt that cloud our perception, allowing us to once again perceive the spiritual enlightenment that emanates from that attunement. When human beings resonate with the 7 cycles of the earth, with the rhythm of the cosmic heartbeat, they not only experience profound peace and well-being, but also unlock capacities that modernity has dismissed as mythical. They become conscious conductors of the universal symphony, rather than merely an out-of-tune listener. But what forces, what veils were intentionally placed so that we would forget not only the music, but also the instrument with which we could fully participate in it? And how is it possible that the earth itself, in its patience, continues to wait for our attunement while we search for truth in the external noise? Considering that the instrument is our own being, we then understand that true attunement is not external, but deeply internal. We speak of Kundalini not as an illness, but as the manifestation of an inherent awakening, a current of life that, when activated, seeks to ascend through the invisible channels of our body. Imagine the human being as a star map with energy. Centers, the chakras, which are rotating vortices, latent dimensional doors. When inner alchemy has prepared the vessel, when ancestral wisdom has been remembered and emotional and mental incrustations have been purged, this cosmic energy, primordial and pure, begins its journey. It is not a mere flow. It is a transformative force that, as it ascends through the central column, activates each of these portals. The world ceases to be flat. Perception expands, sharpens. The veils between the visible and the invisible fade, allowing us to glimpse realities that were previously unimaginable. Time, that linear construct so deeply rooted in our three-dimensional consciousness, becomes elastic, malleable. Moments that would last seconds can feel like eternities of profound revelation. while extended periods can be compressed into an instant of crystal-clear understanding. The forbidden texts of countless traditions, veiled beneath layers of hermetic symbolism, describe these inner transmutations, these hidden mysteries waiting to be rediscovered. They are the keys to spiritual enlightenment, not as a concept, but as a palpable experience, a fusion with the very fabric of existence. But what happens when these doors are opened without proper preparation, without the guidance of those who have navigated these realms before? Inner alchemy is not child's play, nor is ancient wisdom a mere collection of fables. Without proper anchoring, without understanding the hidden mysteries that govern these openings, the individual can be swept away by cosmic energy itself, losing themselves in the vast ocean of unstructured possibilities. What is encountered is not spiritual enlightenment, but rather profound disorientation. This is why the forbidden texts insist on gradualness. Only when the ego has been transcended can consciousness experience the true nature of time and space. Consider the revelations of Itzhak Bentov. He demonstrated that consciousness, upon reaching certain frequencies, can free itself from linear perception. What we call time is, in essence, a projection of our consciousness. When that vibration is altered, linear chronology collapses. The past, present, and future become a simultaneous landscape. It's not that time stops, but rather our relationship to it is completely transformed. It is revealed as a persistent illusion, a mental construct necessary for three-dimensional reality, not a cosmic truth. And if time is an illusion, what about space? Bentov suggested that both can collapse when consciousness dissociates from physical limitations. In that state, the mind doesn't require a body to experience existence. It is pure consciousness, a point of attention in a sea of quantum possibilities, capable of perception without the physical senses. It is the culmination of inner alchemy, proof that our essence transcends flesh and bone. But how does something without form or location perceive or act upon reality? How does something without form or location perceive or act upon reality? Ancient wisdom, encoded in the hidden mysteries of countless traditions, teaches us that perception does not require physical eyes or ears. There is a subtle vision, an inner hearing, a direct gnosis that operates through resonance with the unified field of cosmic energy. The forbidden texts, often disguised as myths or parables, describe consciousness not as a product of the brain, but as an antenna, a cosmic tuner capable of accessing frequencies of information that transcend the material. Let's imagine that reality is not a collection of separate objects, but a vast symphony of interconnected vibrations. In this state of inner alchemy, where the individual I dissolves into the whole, consciousness does not perceive in the own usual sense, but is perception. It merges with the information wave, experiencing reality from within, without the need for a sensory intermediary. It acts not with physical force, but with pure intention, with the quality of its own vibration, modulating the field of quantum possibilities. It is like the conductor who plays no instrument, but whose will shapes the music. Spiritual enlightenment is the threshold where this capacity is fully activated, where one understands that the universal structure is not external, but resides within, like a microcosm reflecting the macrocosm. The ancient Hermetic schools spoke of the body of light, or the astral body, not as physical entities, but as subtle vehicles of consciousness operating in higher dimensions. These are the true instruments of perception and action when the mind is freed from material anchorage. The ability to project consciousness, to travel without the body, is not a fantasy, but a mastery of cosmic energy, a natural ability for those who have completed the deepest inner alchemy. But what does travel really mean when space is an illusion? And what does interacting imply when all reality is a manifestation of one's own consciousness? The answer lies in exploring the fractal patterns that underlie all existence, But if consciousness is truly capable of such feats, of shaping reality and transcending physical barriers, wouldn't it be predictable that those with a thirst for power would try to understand it, control it, even weaponize it? This is where the shadow is cast over the light, where ancient wisdom, once guarded by sages for spiritual enlightenment, becomes an object of coveted. During the Cold War, as the world divided into ideological blocs, intelligence agencies like the CIA were not only interested, but actively sought to unravel these hidden mysteries. The work of thinkers like Bentov, who explored the vibrational states of consciousness and interaction with cosmic energy, was not seen merely as a scientific curiosity, but as a potential weapon, tool, or gateway. Imagine the potential: remote sensing for espionage, mind manipulation for social control, or access to parallel realities for the acquisition of strategic information. Secret programs, often shrouded in the utmost secrecy, experimented with mind expansion, seeking to replicate and exploit phenomena that esoteric traditions had known for millennia. The very principles of inner alchemy that promised the transmutation of the self were viewed by these entities as mere biological or energetic mechanisms to be mastered. They did not seek transcendent truth, but operational power. The so-called forbidden texts, hidden for centuries, perhaps contained keys that these organizations, in their brutal pragmatism, attempted to decipher and pervert for their own ends. The irony is that, in their attempt to objectify and control the subjective, they ran the risk of opening portals they did not even understand. And what happens when what one is trying to control is, by its very nature, uncontrollable, or when the weapon one seeks to wield is in fact a reflection of the manipulator's own conscience? But consider the paradox. How can one subdue that, which by its very nature is the source of all being, the very consciousness that underlies existence? Ancient wisdom, unlike pragmatic minds that sought dominance, always perceived the cosmos not as a dead machine or a mere backdrop for our human tragedies, but as a living entity, a pulsating consciousness. This vision is the essence of what Bentov revealed to us. The universe is not a cold mechanical system, but a cyclical organism, breathing, expanding, and contracting, vibrating with a constant inner alchemy, folding upon itself and being reborn at every moment. The hidden mysteries of creation are revealed in the very structure of the cosmos. That unique drive toward order that Bentov identified, manifested in the toroidal formations of galaxies, is nothing other than the rhythmic breathing of this gigantic universal consciousness. It is cosmic energy in its purest manifestation, orchestrating the dance of stars and nebulae, weaving the web of reality. The forbidden texts that were guarded, those that organizations sought to decipher for strategic advantage, perhaps contained precisely this revelation, that true spiritual enlightenment comes not from external domination, but from internal resonance with this vast and living universe. Understanding that we are an integral part of this pulsating being, not mere observers or controllers, radically transforms our perception. What implications does it have for the truth seeker, for consciousness itself, to recognize oneself as a note in the symphony of a breathing universe, a conscious being that self-creates and self-organizes in a perpetual cycle? If consciousness is a vibration, a frequency within this cosmic hologram, then death is not a cessation, but a modulation, a change of state. The ancient wisdom of cultures, such as the Egyptian, with its elaborate rites of passage, or the Vedic, with its dharma and karma, did not speak of a traveling ethereal soul, but perhaps of the persistence of vibrational patterns of information, inherent in cosmic energy itself. The hidden mysteries they guarded were not mere superstitions, but profound understandings of the quantum physics of the soul. Reincarnation, through this lens, becomes the manifestation of an intrinsic property of the universe. Information is never destroyed, only transformed updated. That information, those forbidden texts written in the ether itself, are not accounts of past lives to be literally remembered, but energetic imprints that shape our predispositions, our existential canvas. It is inner alchemy that allows us not only to decode these inherited patterns, but also to transmute them, raising their frequency and integrating them into a new synthesis. This is not a spiritual enlightenment that seeks to escape the cycle, but one that embraces it, understanding that each new form is an opportunity for consciousness to refine its expression, for the universe to know itself through us. If we are an echo, an actualization of past frequencies, what new symphony can we compose with the notes we have received? And what happens to individual will in this vast flow of cosmic information? Individual will in this vast orchestration of data and frequencies is not an illusion, but an interface. Consider the player within an intricate video game. They possess freedom of movement and decision, but always within the rules and limits established by the source code. Our consciousness in this cosmic great game could be precisely that, an avatar, a personalized access point to an unlimited field of information. The ancient wisdom present in the Sumerian cosmogonies that spoke of tables of destiny, or in the Vedic concept of Leela, the divine game, were not literal descriptions of capricious deities, but profound metaphors for a programmed universe, a reality built on numerical and vibrational patterns. The hidden mysteries of the initiatory temples were nothing more than methods for accessing these codes, for understanding the underlying algorithms that shape our experience. When alchemists sought to transmute lead into gold through inner alchemy, were they not attempting to decode and rewrite, on a metaphysical level, the elemental information of matter? They were working with cosmic energy in its purest form, manipulating the information fields that comprise it. The so-called forbidden texts, those that spoke of the creation of the universe from sound or light, or of the manipulation of reality through intention, could be cryptic manuals for interacting with this simulation. Spiritual enlightenment, in this context, is not just a mystical experience, but a working understanding of how the universe works, an awakening to our capacity to co-create within its parameters. If we are conscious players in a programmable reality, what new levels can we unlock if we understand the nature of interfaces? Thus, the real question is not whether we are part of the simulation, but what we will do with this understanding. Your consciousness, your intention, is the ultimate interface, the master key to interacting with and rewriting the rules of what you perceive as reality. Mastery lies in recognizing that you are not merely a passive player, but a co-creator, an architect of the experience itself. If every thought is a line of code and every emotion a shaping energy, what new reality will you dare to manifest starting today? Meditate on this, share your revelations in the comments, and activate this dialogue. If this journey of discovery resonated with you, spread this vision, share it with like-minded souls, and subscribe to the channel to continue exploring the veils of existence together. And to delve even further into the power of the mind, I suggest watching our next video, The Holographic Matrix, a mirror of our consciousness. A new perspective awaits.